This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, well, hello, everyone. Let me mute everyone real quick. Hold on a second. Just a second. Participants. There we go. Okay, so hello, everyone. I am Tracy DeMario, and if you cannot tell, I am currently in a vehicle after my son's baseball game. So sorry, I'm kind of like in the shadows, but hopefully we'll end up at our house at some point and you'll actually be able to see me a little better. But I don't really matter so much because I am just going to be facilitating tonight. We have some awesome guests that are going to be sharing with all of you guys some fabulous wisdom and tips and tricks and things that they have found to make their businesses extremely successful. So I'm super excited for you guys to hear from them. And I am going to let them introduce themselves. If they could share, of course, their names, where they are from, and then maybe share just your favorite part about Scentsy, like just right out of the gate. How about we start with Amy and Brian?
I knew you were going to start with us. Okay. So hi, everyone. My name is Amy Denny, and this is my husband, Brian Boxwell. We're from Kansas City, Missouri, and my team is Show Me the Scents. And I have a few teamies on tonight. I'm very excited. One of which you're going to hear from my Victoria and her husband. My favorite thing about Scentsy is honestly, it's the friendships. They're absolutely priceless. The friendships that I've made and the memories, you can't buy what I've you cannot buy the friendships and the memories that I've made with Scentsy. You just can't. I could not put a price tag on it. They're absolutely priceless. What's your favorite thing?
Place smells nice.
The place smells nice. And that's a guy answer for you. There you go. Oh, but You have to answer twice because you're filling in for Alex. So what would Alex's answer be?
Definitely makes the truck smell good, and we can sell them to the different truckers out there too.
There you go.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so Miss Amber, let's let you go ahead and we'll just pretend you have an imaginary friend sitting next to you.
Okay, so me and my imaginary husband. So my name is Amber Dixon. I'm the director of Team Redolence Empire. I am from Hannibal, Missouri / Centralia, Missouri, depends on the day of the week. And my favorite thing about Scentsy is all of you guys. This is what makes my heart so happy, is getting to hang out with you guys and love on you guys and spend time with you guys. Of course, our products are amazing. And so, that speaks for itself. But seriously, the friendships that myself and even my husband have made through Scentsy are crazy. Like Amy and Brian and my husband and I, we do lots of traveling together and we get to do lots of events together. So we would have never met if it wasn't for Scentsy, and literally they're my people, and I'm so blessed because of Scentsy, and I got to meet them. And of course, Tracy and Joe are top-notch people. And so, yeah, just meeting everyone in Scentsy, that's the best thing, is the connections and the friendships. You cannot find this anywhere else.
And what would you agree? Did Brian do well in answering on Alex's behalf? His favorite thing, Scentsy?
Yes. So Alex is huge about, he takes minifans and Scentsy goes with him in the truck and pods. And he's constantly coming back saying, I need another one to keep in the truck because I sold that one. I need another one because I sold that one. So yeah, he's a big cheerleader, and yeah.
Very good. Okay. And last but most certainly not least, we have Victoria and Jay. Would you guys please share?
Hello, I am Victoria, and I'm a star consultant. Amy is my director. Tracy's my superstar director, and Amber is the reason, or a bonus of one of the reasons why I love Scentsy, because everybody helps everybody, whether you're in their direct line or not. Everybody gives, and you don't feel like it's everybody out to get the other person. So I do love that, and I love the fact that it helps my mood. So Scentsy to me is kind of like a savior. And then and then we like to role play. So I'm good cop, he's bad cop, and I'm gonna let bad cop speak. Go ahead.
Okay. I thought we were just gonna keep that to ourselves, but okay, all right, I can roll with that. All right, so Of course, like she said, I'm her husband, Jay. Um, what I like about it is that it puts a smile on Victoria's face, and it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't hurt that when she's off, she doesn't nag me because she's doing Scentsy. So I get to do whatever I want during that time, unless she has like a list. So yeah, I enjoy it. Is that
And
what
you
you
guys are, you
Yeah,
guys
that's
are from
what the-
Kansas, right? You guys are
Oh,
in
I'm
Kansas.
sorry. We are Kansians.
Leavenworth, Kansas.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, I am going to be brought back to Amber. I'll kind of bounce around a little bit, and you guys can use the chat, and you can certainly ask questions as well. And I will check the chat here shortly, or some of you guys can bring it to my attention if I somehow miss something. But so Amber, let's start with you and Alex. So what are kind of the roles? And I know that you guys, you know, even though he does have a full-time job and you currently are kind of a caregiver to a family member and working your Scentsy business full-time, but what are kind of your guys' roles in the Scentsy business?
So I would say that my husband is definitely my biggest wingman. Like he constantly is bringing me people, bringing me contact info. And he's also like my my delivery boy. So one of my things, I'm very introverted. I know you guys would never think that because you guys see me on here. And in Scentsy land, I'm not introverted because I don't know why, but Scentsy just makes me not an introvert. I could literally talk about Scentsy nonstop to anybody. But outside of that, I don't want to make eye contact because I don't want to talk to you. So it's kind of weird. My husband is the complete opposite. He is totally an extrovert. He can't go somewhere without someone talking to him. He doesn't even have to make eye contact. They just talk to him. So he is very good about like, if I'm just like, you know, I don't want to go make these deliveries. He just goes and does it because he's fabulous. And he also is really good about like, he always has a business card holder with him that has just my business cards in it. And so he's constantly handing out my business cards. He takes scent circles. And of course, like he is very good at helping me set up for events, but then he disappears on me. And I'm like, where are you? I need your help, because he's off talking to people because he cannot see his mouth. And I know Amy will say that I can't shut my mouth because I'm always talking at events, but seriously, Mr. Dixon will disappear talking to people. Not always about, usually it's about cars and such, but he's very good about, you know, making sure that I have everything that I need and everything is set up. And then he does kind of disappear on me, but he's working on that because I had to have a stern talking to with him.
So now, and he always goes to reunion with you, correct?
Oh yes. He generally, if it's Scentsy related, he always wants to go. He loves Scentsy events, like probably just as much as I do, maybe even a little bit more. Cause yeah, every year he's like, you know, where's SFR? Where are we going? Where are we staying? You know, all of the things. Like he's a Scentsy guy. Like he loves it. Not just for the products, like he also is very much about, you know, like friendships and, you know, all of the people that we've got to meet and everything. So yeah, it's, he's definitely my travel buddy too, when it comes to Scentsy.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Now let's move over to Amy and Brian. And it's interesting that you were sharing that about Alex, because of course, I know for a fact that Brian is also like BFFs with Dan Orchard, Scentsy president. And so I think that's always great because whenever they see each other, it's like, there's my guy, like they got this thing going on. And I think that's pretty awesome. So Brian, you obviously enjoy attending Scentsy events as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think they're pretty cool because I mean, I work for FedEx, so I'm used to you know, leading teams and being part of a team and taking care of packages. And I'm not too happy that Scentsy uses UPS, but it is what it is. I can't control that part, but I do know there's some FedEx packages. But it was pretty neat to meet some of the leaders at these reunions and at some of these different events. So you know, we met Heidi Norville briefly at one of the Scentsy reunions.
I was when I was in Kansas City.
Yeah, so we met them briefly, which was pretty cool, and they were pretty down to earth. They weren't just like nice to meet you, get out of here, nice to meet you, get out of here. They were actually kind of had a little bit of chit chat with you. Met Dan on the where did I meet him? On
Alaska.
the Alaskan cruise.
Yeah.
And so we kind of talked about what was going on with FedEx and all that stuff. So just kind of interesting to see, but it's pretty fun to see the people there. And then I take a lot from the events itself, because they bring in outside speakers and they talk about being a leader. They talk about running a business, and some of the people, I see some of the Scentsy people kind of go to sleep, put on their Facebook, start getting on their phones, but I take a lot back because I know I could use it in my FedEx work. So
I can't tell you how many books I've ordered off of Amazon, because he doesn't have a Kindle like I do. So he wants the actual paperback or hardback version. And so I have ordered numerous books over the years from speakers that we've had at Reunion, because he's gotten so much out of it that he can use in leadership at FedEx. So yeah, for sure. And then he is, I couldn't do my events without him, because he's my carrier of all the boxes. And because one day I'm going to have an office like Tracy DeMario where it's just a walkout, but all of my stuff is in what I like to refer to as my Scentsy dungeon, which is my basement. And it's literally a huge basement, and it is full of Scentsy, but he has to carry everything up the steps for events. He loads my trailer for me. And then when we get there, he sets up with me. He breaks it down with me, and he stays during the events. And my husband can sell some Scentsy, man. He's not just there to like say, oh, well, let me talk to you while my wife is helping this customer. My husband knows the products, and he can sell some Scentsy. Like, I can leave the booth if I need to use the restroom, or if he's like, you need to go take a break for 20 minutes. Tracy and I do State Fair together, and we leave the boys at the booth, and we'll go eat lunch together when we're not slammed. And we leave the boys, and they can handle it just fine. He knows how to run my Square. He knows how to get on my computer. He knows all of that stuff. So
what is it, Brian? What do you like to say? ABC?
yeah, ABC. You got to always ABC. Always be selling. Always be selling.
But why is it a C? I always say, why is it a C?
Well, it's always, it's really always be closing. It's for like, when it comes to real estate and stuff like that, but it just makes more sense. Just sell. ABC, always be selling. And it makes people laugh, because they're like, what the hell? Sell doesn't smell. Yeah, just, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what he does. ABC. But yeah, but he can't, I mean, he knows the product and he likes them. He uses them. Hey, Joe. Yeah, I got your buddy here that you know, run the booth with. These two, we leave them.
Yeah.
Booth,
Yeah.
So, but they can do it.
That's my guy.
I like Anita just put always be selling, CELLING. That's pretty good.
Perfect.
See?
I love it. I'm going to start
That is-
spelling it like that from now on.
Yeah, that is perfect. Yes. No, and
That's
it is
great.
one of the things that we noticed early on when Joe and I would do our booths, and the same is true with Brian in the booth as well, is it's really interesting how, you know, I mean, yes, Joe and Brian do know a lot about our products, but let's be real. Amy and I like really know.
Is she
Everything
frozen or is
goes down. I'm thinking, where's it?
I can't help it.
Oh, is she? I'm not. Am I frozen? Really?
Yeah, you got frozen.
No,
You're frozen.
you're good now.
Not now.
I'm on state line. How is this possible? It should be good here. Okay. Anyway, so my point is that Amy and I could be in the booth. We know all the things, and yet we got Brian and we got Joe here, and the women just go over and start talking to them. Well, I need to buy something that's floral, or what should I get? What's popular? I'm like, well, who are we? Like, what are we just, you know, like people like to buy from men. They really do. So if you are a man or you have a man, get him in the booth, train him up a little bit. And I'm telling you,
You tell him, girl.
I'm telling you, people will buy from them. They want to interact and talk with them. It's so interesting. So,
Or another thing is, like, if they need a present for like a guy in their life, they're like, well, what scents do you like? Like they, you know, they go to the guys for that. Even though I can say, well, my husband likes Mystery Man or Woodland Met or whatever, they like to hear from the guys. Like, what do you like? What would you recommend? Well, what would you put in your car? So that's another reason they go to them too.
yeah, it is very, very helpful too. And sadly, I think, you know, there is a misconception of direct sales with some, unfortunately. And for some reason, I think there's this, when you have a man in the booth, I'm not saying this is cool, but this is just reality. It makes it more legit. I don't know. It's like kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it, but unfortunately, I know I just feel like I've experienced that time and time again. So it's nice. If it's an option for you guys, get your man in the booth, because it's, number one, we have a good time. It's lots of fun, but also they can bring a benefit to your business just by being present. So Victoria and Jay, I have got to watch you guys in action a few times working events. And I got to tell you, I don't think I had any doubt about Jay, but because I knew Victoria was a rock star, like she's just naturally like awesome. Like this business is just, she's very natural at it. But then you get Jay, who seems like he's going to be real quiet. And I don't know, like that was just my initial impression. This man can not only sell Scentsy, he can recruit like no tomorrow. Like I was with him one day, he recruited 3 team members in one day at a booth. Tell us about that, Jay. How do you do that?
Well, first, I have to give it up to you. Oh, I wanted to say, what I really love about Scentsy is obviously everybody knows, Tracy's band. Okay, Tracy has the coolest spaceship band there is. So I mean, that's what I love about it. That's my goal. All right. No, but so Victoria is more introvert, and everybody that knows me knows, like, has that same impression. Oh, he's quiet and stuff, but I'm like from Atlanta, and Atlanta people, or Georgia South, we're normally outgoing and we have Southern hospitality. So I grew up saying you have to say hi to everybody, regardless of if you feel like they're having a bad day or whatever. But she's like, no, but I'm like, you have to, because you never know if you might say hi, and they just wanted to vent. Like Victoria's like, why does it seem like, do you know that person? Because somebody will tell me their whole life story. And I'm like, no, all I said was hi, but they needed to vent. And I'm always there to lend an ear or whatever. So that day that we did, the 3 new recruits, I know one of them happened to be the lady that owns the restaurant that was in that place. And I was like, I went up to her and I said, listen, I understand that you're buying this stuff, but, I just wanted to say, thank you for supporting Scentsy and everything. And if you're going to buy something, why don't you check this out? And that's when she was like, okay, show me. So I really like to open up to the cold market by giving them, like, basically you should always give somebody a compliment before introducing Scentsy. It could be anything, sometimes I say, hey, I like your shoes and stuff, so at the supermarket, that's how we ended up signing some people. Just a compliment goes a long way, and it makes them let down their walls, like, oh, they're being nice. Now, guys, I don't know how many guys is on there, you have to be careful too, because sometimes females think that you're hitting on them. So when I'm by myself and I'm sharing Scentsy with somebody, I open up with the compliment, but I open up like, hey, like the shoes thing. Hey, my wife would love those shoes. Those are nice and everything. So then it gets them talking. And then everything, if you really think about Scentsy, you can incorporate Scentsy into anything. People that has pets. So then you tell them, oh, I like your dog and everything. And then that opens up to your pet products. Well, I know now that the pet products, are kind of going away, but we have the wolf box. That's right. I know Scentsy. But so that's how it is. I just open up with a compliment, just bring down people's walls, and show that I'm friendly, that I'm no threat to them. And then I just navigate it into Scentsy.
Tell us about the story when you were actually in the store and you have a conversation with the lady and you told her that you were going to have your wife message you right back. But before your wife, before Victoria, who was working, could even message her, she placed $100 and some order on your website. Can you share kind of how that interaction took place?
Okay, so which one?
You were at
Because there was
Walmart
been
with,
a couple.
you were at Walmart with Bianca and you were walking.
Take your
by the
pick.
back
I
of
know
the
you got a lot.
And then you said to Bianca, should I go up to her? Bianca.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I forgot why we were going to Walmart, but we went down the clearance aisle because, I'm not going to lie, I'm a man. I'm also cheap and stuff like that. So I was walking down the clearance aisle and with my daughter, and there's this lady, she picked up this, I guess, Walmart brand scents and everything. And I overheard her say, I don't know what kind of a scent should I get. And I was like, oh, and I noticed that she was looking at warmers and everything. So I passed her by and I told my daughter, I said, hey, should I go back and ask her, does she know about Scentsy? And then my daughter was like, no, Dad, and then she was like, oh, forget it, go ahead. And I was like, you're right, I'm gonna do it. What else? She'll say no, who cares? Oh, whatever. So I go up to her and she's talking to her daughter again. She's like, no, put that back. I don't like any of these scents and stuff. And I was like, excuse me, I know you're looking at scents, but my wife, like, once again, you have to put in my wife. What?
And he had his Scentsy joggers on. So
Oh yeah, I did have my
show-
Scentsy joggers
proof.
on. So I said, my wife sells Scentsy, and I see that you're looking at these scent bars and everything. And she was like, yes. And she was like looking at me weird. And I pointed at my pants. I said, see, Scentsy, do you know about Scentsy? She's like, yes. So I told her, hey, I have my wife, give my wife a call or text my wife, and she's at work right now, and she will go ahead and hook you up. Don't buy any of this stuff or whatever, but if you want to, you can. But if you don't, Scensy's better. And she's like, oh yeah, I heard about Scentsy, sure. So she ended up texting my wife. I called Victoria. I'm like, look, I understand that you're training somebody, but somebody's about to text you and everything. And then it just worked out from that. She put in $100 order. And
I was going to say a side note, and I'll make it really quick because I know you guys got a lot to
Right.
cover. But Arlene is on here tonight, one of my newest teamies. And for her, she offered to do a bag party for me at her work, but she asked me if I could drop it off at her work. But unfortunately, because I was at work, I couldn't do it. And Jay's like, well, she don't want to see me. She wants to see you. She was like, you don't. He's like, she wants to see you. You need to drop it off, Victoria. This is something that you need to do. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I'm at work. I can't. And her schedule, my schedule. So I said, just drop it off. I'll explain everything to her later. So Jay goes there, and Arlene can be a great testimony to this because she's in person. And she said most guys would just drop it off and say, here you go, blah, blah. He said, but she said, Jay wowed all the ladies with all the scents and all the information and knew everything there was to know. And so she said that basically he just really won them over, and he did a great job. I'm like, see,
and
Jay?
she had a successful party.
Yes, she did. And so she, again, she's the one who told us how much they appreciated Jay and how much he knew and how much he did. So just little things that they do can turn into bigger things. So just wanted to share that too.
That's awesome. And going back to Amy and Brian. So Brian, I know you do a lot of logistics kind of behind the scenes things. Can you share some of those things that you do to help Amy and have helped Amy in the past?
He's laughing.
Yeah. Well, part of it is, I can help track down some packages. So, in a roundabout way, probably a way I probably shouldn't, but, yeah, sometimes I reroute packages and see where they need to go, but I can also get a little bit more information than most people when it comes to where packages are at. But, especially the FedEx ones, but just knowing the logistics of how packages flow throughout the country, even with UPS. I don't work for UPS, but I have an idea of what they do because they do very similar stuff. So part of that being is when she orders some stuff and then, customer needs this, really wants it for, as a birthday gift or some sort of just gift. And a lot of times it gets held up sometimes. And so that's where, try to do our best, because I'm in the customer service business. And at the end of the day, this is exactly what this is too. So it kind of comes easy to me. I enjoy doing it. So, but you don't always have that opportunities, but you gotta utilize your resources. So,
But what else do you do for me? Like he
Well,
knows how to unload like
yeah,
if
I
I'm
know how
not
to
here,
load a trailer like
well, I know, but like unload boxes for me.
Yeah.
Like he knows how to get in the boxes, check the packing list. He'll do all that with me. He knows our system downstairs of how we have stuff shelved and boxed. He knows if it's going to what event it's going to. If I tell him, he knows what section it goes in. So he can do all of that. Like he doesn't even need me here to know how to do that. Now, at first I was like, oh my gosh, do not touch the packages. Like, you don't know what's going on. I'm like, but now we've been in this almost 13 years. He knows how to do all the behind the scenes stuff too. So it's really helpful because like I said, I work a full-time job. He works a full-time job. So being able on the weekends to be able to do that together, or when I'm going crazy, he's like my calm down person.
Freaks out over it.
Yeah, I stress and he's always the level-headed one telling me, don't worry about it, we'll get it done. So, but he can do all that kind of stuff with me.
So Brian, what advice do you have for others on the call that maybe right now they don't have a supportive spouse, or they don't have a spouse or a partner that's helpful, or what advice would you have to maybe make that happen? Like, how do you have any recommendations?
Well, you got to see what your spouse likes to do. She really likes selling Scentsy. I didn't understand it when she started bringing the stuff around. I had no idea. I was like, what is all this stuff? It smelled nice, but she was started selling it. I'm like, you're selling this? Wow. Okay, whatever. That's what you want to do. Knock yourself out. So, at first it wasn't a big deal. Then she kind of got serious about it and she started making some extra money. And when I saw the money, I was like, oh, that's a pretty good check. And you didn't really work that hard, but you were selling it. So what you need to do is find out what your spouse likes to do and then help them. Because I want her to quit her job. She's a preschool teacher. She needs to quit her job because I think she can make the Scentsy business even more. But,
Tracy agrees 100% with that.
Trust me, I think she should too. But I understand, she's loyal to her business and loyal to her mom and the preschool and all that stuff. And she really likes the kids. And so you got to do what you got to do. But you got to find out what your spouse likes, what your, and then push them, because that's the other thing. Like, to me, this is easy. This is the easiest part because I deal with logistics all day long, getting people their packages, unloading trucks, loading trucks, getting them out. I'm on a go. I'm on a fast pace all day long. So when I see this is nice and slow. It's easy, but I push her to try to be in, and there's several times where she tells me that I need to basically get out of her face because she's got it.
I got this.
But you got to be supportive and see what your spouse wants.
But I really think that when I signed up, he didn't care because we had just gotten married when I signed up. We got married in March of 2010 and I signed up in November of 2010. So we had just gotten married and I said, hey, I lied. We got married in February. You're right. Oh my gosh. Where's my brain?
Anyway.
Oh, okay. Just kidding. We got married in February. We started dating in March of 2000. Oh,
Anyway.
Lord.
Tracy doesn't remember ours either.
Oh, Lord, I do know it. Anyway, okay, that's beside the point. Anyway, so it was November of 2010, and I had asked him. I said, I said, can I sign up for this? And he's like, what is it? And I tried to explain. He's like, I don't know what it is. He's like, but if you want to spend $99 on it, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. Best $99 I've ever spent on anything. And let me tell you, I spent $99 on a lot of things, you guys. And this is the best $99 investment I've ever made. So I started doing it, and there wasn't I wasn't really doing it as a business. I really did it as a hobby because I was buying so much of it from my friend. And so I basically started as a hobby. It wasn't until SFR it was called Scentsy Convention then, but it was in Fort Worth, Texas. It was the very first one I could attend. So it was the summer of 2011. And we went together, and that's when he caught the vision. I still hadn't seen the vision, but that's when he caught the vision, was because he went to an in-person event with me and he saw the big picture right away. He's like, you could make something of this. I'm like, no, it's literally just a side hobby for me. I'm working at the preschool. He's like, you don't need to do that. And he caught the vision years before I caught the vision. Like, he's been wanting me to do this as a business since he went to that in-person event and heard Heidi and Orville and some of the speakers talk. And I have always pushed it off as a side hobby, a side hustle. You know, I was a hobbyist until about probably what, 3 or 4 years ago, when I really was like, okay, I think I actually can make something of this. And he's like, oh, you're finally gonna let me push you to where you need to be. Him and Tracy have been after me for years to do this as a business. And we're finally at the point now where I finally have caught the vision too. So, but as soon as I got him to that in-person event, that's when it all clicked for him. So if you can get your significant other or your bestie or whatever to an in-person event and hear the speakers and hear home office talk and make them realize what the Scentsy culture is all about, I think that helped us a ton, because like I said, that's when he caught on, was when he went to that first event.
And what about you, Jay? Do you have any wisdom that you could share different from what they said?
No, I totally agree with them. The Scentsy events are awesome. I feel like I was just like Amy, you know, I think I've seen it before Victoria, you know, and I do believe that, just like Tracy and Amy always tells Victoria she got it, you know, I want to push her just like everybody else does, you know, but she's good, and I really don't have anything to add because it's just awesome. Victoria, you go ahead.
She said Jay.
Well, you know, I was put on the spot. I can't do you on the spot.
I want to interject something here though, because I definitely think that I think that Jay caught the vision, I think, before Victoria did, because what did you message me that he did for you? What did he put in your office for you? Remember, he was printing all that stuff out, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, when I promoted, he printed out what it takes to promote to where I was, where I need to be next, as a vision on our mirror. If there's a dresser in here, it used to be my daughter, whatever. But on the mirror, he hung up the 2 things to kind of keep me motivated and remind me of where I've been and where I can be.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, and then he played a whole song, he did a whole dance, and just kidding.
Okay, so I did think of something. So I agree. You have to find out what they like, and you know your spouse or partners and everything like that, what motivates them. And you know, when she was doing it by herself before, you know, she wasn't really confident in it. But then I saw that, you know, that this made her happy, and, you know, and it changed her mood, and it started helping her health, actually. And so I felt like, you know what, I can't step back and let her do this. And I have to step in and show her that I support her. So regardless if it was anything that makes her feel this way and helps her, I'm always going to support her. And so regardless, when she makes me wear my purple shirt out in public, I will wear my purple shirt with pride, and I will tell everybody about Scentsy. So
yeah. And his Mr.
Oh yeah, and my
Mr. Wax Boss bracelet. He'll wear that too.
Yes.
I like it. So, Joe, how about you in purple shirts?
What about shirts? I don't wear purple shirts.
Yeah, so that's partly the reason why did you turn the light off back there?
No.
That's partially why our team jerseys are black, because I knew that I could actually get Joe to wear one if I went with black. So for those of you that have asked, why'd you pick that color? Well,
Because I wear black.
yes.
The bracelets are black and gray, so you can wear the bracelet, Mr. Wax
I wear a
Boss.
couple of different shades of black.
That's awesome.
So, Joe, how did you feel when I joined Scentsy? What were your thoughts?
Well, I was just like, yeah, whatever. I was too busy working, I don't know, crazy amount of hours, 16-hour days. So I really didn't have a lot of opinion on it in the beginning. And then, let's see, we took a trip to, it was 2009. We took a trip to Salt Lake City for reunion or for convention. And we went to dinner with, just a couple of people that are in Scentsy that are now, well, even back then, they were millionaires back then, but, and they had been formerly, you know, construction worker or owned construction companies and, you know, builders and things like that. And just having conversations with them and seeing the production that Scentsy put on and meeting the people there. And that just really kind of opened my eyes to it. It got my attention. Let's say that. It got my attention then. And then within a very short amount of time, I think it was like 9 months or so, she was making as much money as I was, where I was working, you know, literally. I went to work when the kids were asleep and I got home when the kids were asleep. And she kind of was making that kind of money that short of time. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then she came to me and said, you know, if you help more around the house and walked away from that corporate job, I think I can really make a good run at this. And so I did. And
did you say, yes, I'm gonna, like, you were all in and excited to do that?
No, it was a big paradigm shift for me.
He was a little resistant. He's being way too like.
It was a big paradigm shift for me because that's just not the world I came from to actually do that. So it was not natural in any way. It took some time for me to be on board with it 100%. But you know, I'm glad we did, and you know, we never looked back since. So it's been an awesome ride. Love it.
Yes. Miss Amber, what would you like to share?
So I just kind of wanted to share like kind of like what everybody's been saying, like even if you don't have a spouse that supports you in your business, find a friend, your mom, your child, someone to be like your cheerleader. Everybody needs a cheerleader in their corner. Of course, we're all your cheerleaders, right? Because, you know, this is like the biggest thing is like just cheering all of you guys on. We love that. We live for that. But if you can find somebody to be in the back of your, you know, in the back of your mind that's constantly like, hey, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Get them to help you. I don't care if it's, you know, labeling bars or labeling catalogs for you or whatever it is. Just get them to support you just a little bit. But I can tell you that if you have a spouse or a partner or whatever, if you can get them to go to an event with you, it's life-changing. It's business changing. It's relationship changing. And it's the biggest serotonin boost you could ever have. Like, you know, I've heard Jay say that, you know, it makes Victoria happy. You know, Brian says to Amy, it makes you happy. My husband's the same way. It makes you happy. And we truly are like different, better people because of Scentsy. Like the way that it makes you feel and the way that we're so passionate about it, it's truly like, it's like I said, it's a serotonin boost. Like if you were feeling down or out or, you know, having a bad week, year, I don't care, go to a Ding Dang Scentsy event because it will make you feel so much better. Because those people are so supportive and so loving, and they want nothing. Everyone in Scentsy wants nothing but for you to be the better version of you, if that makes sense. So find somebody at home that can kind of be your cheerleader, but also know that you have all of these people, especially like your Scented Bliss people are all your cheerleaders. So don't ever feel like, oh, I can't bother them or I can't reach out to them, or, you know, they would never understand that I'm having a crap day. Reach out, reach up, you know, because there's so much support here and so much love, and there's so many people that want to bring you up. So, you know, if you can't find it at home, reach out to these people. I mean, you can look on this screen right here. There's all these people that are right here that are your biggest cheerleaders. So if you need a cheerleader that you can't get at home, get your cheerleader right here. Because I mean, you know, I'm always down to cheer somebody on. So even if I'm having a crap day or crap week or crap year, like, you know, come on over here. I'll listen to you and I'll cheer you on. And I will tell you, I'm really bad about remembering to message people back. So sometimes you have to message me twice, just FYI. But I love all you guys.
Well, and I think it's awesome. A couple of things. Number one, it's similar to what Amber said too, but you know, for us, Evan was 3 when I joined Scentsy, and he's now 17, which makes me sad, but it has to happen, I guess. And all he ever remembers is Joe and I home. I mean, he doesn't remember his dad working outside of the home because, you know, he was young, he was little. And the fact that Scentsy was able to do that for our family, like, is amazing. Like we don't have to miss anything. He has both his parents at everything. And it's this warmer and wax business, you know, that allowed this to happen. So for those of you that are maybe you've had a bad day or a rough month, or, you know, your last event was a bust, or your last party or your person that sponsored was a flop, you know, don't let that hard day or that bad day determine what's possible for you guys, because there's so much that's possible when you are a part of this company. And I think that that's really important. And like for us, it's been a family business. Like, I mean, everybody in my family, well, obviously not my daughter, Taylor, she's got significant disabilities, so she kind of is exempt, but my daughter, Sierra, both Giovanni and Evan, they could all set up a Scentsy event. Like literally, if we pulled in, would all know how to do it. They all know how I want everything labeled. They know how I want things folded. They know how I do my mailings. Like it's a family business, you know, and it's been awesome for them to experience this from the very beginning. It's all they ever know and it's all they remember. And I love the fact that that's just how Evan doesn't realize that it's not normal that we sell candles. I mean, I say candles loosely, but you know, a fragrance business.
Well, not only has it allowed us to be home, but you know, with Evan being involved with sports and school events and things like that, it's allowed us to be at every single thing that he's been a part of. I mean, we are able to travel wherever we need to go, wherever he's playing baseball that week. We're able to get on a plane and fly, or get in the car and drive. So I can count on this one hand how many games that we've missed because we had to work or something like that. So this has allowed us to be everywhere we've needed to be.
And like Evan said, or like Joe said before, Scentsy, I mean, he literally, like my kids for the first 3 months that Joe was home, it's like, who is this guy? Like he's telling me what I need to do. He's telling me different from mom, how mom does things. And he's making me eat meat 3 times a day. Like, I'm sorry, but like before Joe believes that you should have protein at every meal. And for me, it was like, okay, what can we microwave? What comes out of the freezer? You know? So, and so he was just like not having it. So it was quite for my Taylor and my Sierra. They're like, who is this guy? And who does he think he is? You know? So, it was definitely an adjustment, but it's one that as a family, we've definitely been blessed. And I love the fact that my kids have had experiences. I know Becky, I know Victoria, I know many of Jackie, I've seen her daughter, Stephanie, many of you guys, you know, you got your kids, you know, doing videos, which, you know, you can say, oh yeah, they're sharing Scentsy, but it's also helping them. It's helping them, give them opportunities to be comfortable in front of a camera, to learn how to, you know, get outside of their comfort zone early on. Like, how to do inventory. You know, my kids know how to do inventory. Like there's just a lot of skill set that because we have this business at home that's provided our family and our kids that's unique to if we had a corporate, you know, 9-to-5 job. So I think
we don't have anybody.
Too.
We don't have anybody to answer to but us and them.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys. I mean, so that's what makes it great.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tracy, I wanted to piggyback off of what you just said about the kids. Bianca, as you guys know, helps us with our events as well. And she likes to be the one who does the square because she likes to do the money part of it. So great. She's only 15 for those that don't know her. She just turned 15 in February. But prior to that, I think I may have shared this story. So if I did, forgive me. We had the fragrance mist that we no longer have anymore, but I introduced it to her, cozy cardigan, And she liked it. I said, we'll share it, no problem. Next thing you know, I went to go look for it and it was missing. And I was so upset because I didn't know. I thought she hid it from me. And I went to pick her up from school. And when I picked her up, she said, hey, Mom, guess what? I took the fragrance mist to my gym locker and I sprayed it. And I have some girls who want to buy from you now. And so here I was upset with her, thinking she's hiding it and trying to be greedy. And here she was actually hustling behind the scenes, trying to sell the Scentsy. And I was just so proud of her because she just has that much joy with it, and she likes being part of our little thing, and she does the events with us. She helps us set
She's
up.
bossy.
She is bossy, but
She bosses me around at the events. She tells me what to do.
she hangs up the wax. So to me, I love that. I love that more than anything because it is helping her see that there's other things out there besides, you know, the normal fast food per se things. Anyways, so I just wanted to share that. I really do think if you can get your kids involved, that would be great because it really does help build a better home. So
Yeah,
that's all I
and
want to say.
I love what Becky homeschools her girls, and I absolutely love it when I open my news feed and I get to see them. I love just watching all of your guys' kids grow up. It's truly one of the many blessings. And she was just saying, in case you guys can't see the chat for some reason, but that she was teaching Abby about price increase and decrease, and I was able to use real life examples with Scentsy. I mean, how cool is that? How you can work that into your conversations, and that's awesome. Very cool. I love it. Where are we at? Here we go. So Amy and Brian, we got you guys again. So we do have reunion coming up.
Wait a minute. Why are they going again?
Well, who's supposed to
I'm
go?
just kidding.
Oh, I was like, what am I missing here? So Amy and Brian, we have reunion coming up, but I know we have talked a lot about in-person events. But so do you have any any wisdom if people have some hesitations about, not going? Like, do you have any wisdom to kind of help, work through that with them?
I would say now I cannot think off the top of my head, but who was it? Tracy, help me at our retreat that we just had. What was her name? That talked about going to reunion. She was one of the speakers. She went to reunion.
Jennifer Anderson.
Thank you. I couldn't think. I'm like, I cannot think of her name. Okay, so Anderson, not Aniston. Okay. Anyway, she talked about going to her first reunion and they were so broke, but she knew she needed to go in order to make the business work. And she literally slept on the floor of a motel room with, I don't know, 4 or 5 other girls. She ate ramen noodles. She brought ramen noodles from home and microwaved them in the hotel room, peanut butter sandwiches. She didn't eat out. She didn't sit, this is true story. But she knew she needed to get there and she did whatever it took to get her there because she knew it was what she needed for her business. And so I say that if you can get there, my mom always likes to say, if there's a will, there's a way. And that was her way. She had the will to do it. And that was her way to make it happen. And so if you really want to get to SFR and you really believe, because I truly believe every time I go to SFR, it lights a fire under me. I mean, I come out of there and I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm ready to do it. And, sometimes like in the slow months, like in the winter months, and like they always say the J months, like January, June, July, when you're, they just say those are the slow months, but it really lights a fire and helps me refocus on my business and to see the excitement. I don't know if you guys saw, but I posted a reel in Bliss from SFR last year when it was our first in-person event since 2019. And it was just literally directors and above, and just how loud it was in there because it was our leadership dinner. If you multiply that by like 100, that's what the feel. And it literally was like all the feels. Like I almost got chills standing there and it was so exciting to see that level of excitement. And it's that way all the time when you go to these events. Like it's always an exciting time and you learn so much. You may not, like my husband identifies more with Orville when Orville speaks because he's very numbers. I know Tracy does too. Very numbers, very
analytical.
Yeah. And I identify more with Heidi because I'm more emotional based. So I'm the crier. He's always handing me the Kleenex. but between the two of us, it works because one balances out the other. But so even though I'm not saying I don't get anything from people that are more in the local, because I do, because I'm really good with numbers, but I just identify more with the emotional side. That's what touches my heart and brings me joy.
So you're a Heidi person.
I'm a Heidi person. Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, because I mean, like I said, I work for FedEx, and this reminds me, it's almost very similar. We have a kickoff meeting once a year. COVID kind of threw some wrinkles and things, but when you can get your leaders in front of you and listen to it from them, not just some video or an email or a memo or some
virtual,
some little snippet that's on the web somewhere. When you hear it from them, and then there's time where you can, break out into sessions and have side conversations about the discussion about what's going on, it's really impactful and it really hits home. And it kind of, like she says, it kind of lights a fire under you. It gets you re-energized, because we have kickoff every year in June or July in FedEx, and it's always around whenever the reunion is, depending on wherever they have it at. But it's very similar. But when you can hear the leaders speak of any corporation, I mean, they're leaders for a reason. They're there for a reason. I mean, that they're in that business and they know it. But to get people motivated, even though this is direct sales and each one of you on this call is your own business, that still has a similar model. You're also all selling the same product, and you get out what you put in, and sometimes you just need a little spark. And I will say that hearing any corporate leader speak is you just can't get that everywhere. You can't just go talk to anybody, pick any corporation and listen to the president or the COO or any higher ups, or even some of the people that deal with the products that we're all selling, right? Then you get to talk to them, you get to see them. It really hits home, and then that makes you a better leader. It makes you a better salesperson, and then lets you help go out there and then sell it so you can try to get more team members. So it's very impactful, whatever you can do to get out there and see it, because you never know, everybody takes a little bit differently. Yeah, I identify with Orville, she identifies with Heidi, but they're all good speakers. But then they also have additional speakers there that can help. So there's something you can get from every single person. It may be one little tidbit. It could be an entire, 3 pages of notes or whatever you take. And some people don't take any notes, but just being there and showing up is huge, because that's where you're going to feel it.
You're going to get some kind of golden nugget. I promise you, something will touch you. Something will stick with you. Something will impact you. And you say, all of a sudden that light bulb goes off and you say, oh my gosh, I get it. I understand now. I got it. And it makes you want to put those practices into place. As soon as you leave, you're like, okay, I got to do this and this and this and this and this. So
what I think's really, really amazing is, you go to reunion. I think the biggest one we went to there was like 12,000 consultants at. I was the biggest one. I know they've capped them at around 7,000 to 9,000 over the past few years, besides the COVID year. But, when all you guys, all these consultants are there, and not just within your team or group of people that are sitting with you that within your Bliss team or within somebody else's team, but consultants that are not even connected to you, related to you in any way, and you're meeting them and they're excited to meet you. They're willing to share information with you, and everybody can learn something from somebody out there. And I think not only the speakers that are there, they're great to listen to. They have a lot of information, but the people that are walking in your shoes right then and there, they're doing everything that you're doing every day, but they may be doing something different. And you guys take in little pieces that somebody else does and implement it into your business. They're not even related to your team, but they're willing to share what they do to make results. And I think that's been really awesome to witness. We've been there a few times with Amy and Brian. I know Amy, I've been there a couple times to a few big events like that. And I know, let's see, and Anita's been there. with us at a couple of events. So I don't know, Becky has been in a few events that we've been to, Jackie. So all you guys know what I'm talking about. It's amazing to be in that room and see the production that they're putting on, and everybody in that room is willing to share information with you. You don't even have to be on their team, related to you, related to us in any way. It's just people you meet in the hallway, people you meet on the floor, people you meet anywhere. You could be in the shop shopping for Scentsy stuff and t-shirts and stuff. You're standing there and you're talking to somebody, and next thing you know, you strike up a friendship, and those friendships last a long time, and you guys can always feed off of that too. And I think that's pretty amazing. There's not a lot of companies that do that, that have that opportunity.
And I'll just say too, like the first year that we went and I wanted Joe to go, and he was like, well, I'll go, but I'm not going to that whole all meeting stuff. Like he was like, he drew a line. Okay. So I was like, all right, fine. He's like, oh, I'm going to go fly fish because it was in Salt Lake. And so I'm like, whatever it takes. I didn't even care. Just wanted to get him there. But he still, because as soon as convention's over, then everybody is everywhere, like all on the streets, the hotels, the lobbies, like everywhere. And like you said, like we got to go to dinner with a lot of our upline for the first time, and he got to meet all of them. And so he could not help but sense and feel and see just how incredible all of this was like, and that's what got him hooked. And so the next year, of course, he was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to all the things. And I remember it was last year you couldn't go because of Evans baseball, but the year before, like they even had like a men's session, where like just for the Scentsy men. And Steve Reeder was like, come on, Joe, I'm going to the men's thing. All right, Joe's going to the men's thing. Like we don't even have to like do all the things together. He's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. And so no matter where you guys start with your significant other or your partner or whatever, you never know where it may go. Just whatever you can do to try to get them there, I think you'll see some benefit from.
Well, and also when you get them there, like, we can talk about all of this right now. And they still, I think for a lot of people who don't know, has never been to an event, a significant other that's never been to an event, you can't sell the picture because it's a hard picture to sell for them to understand. But when you show up at a Scentsy event and see the money that Scentsy corporate is spending to put on these events is mind-boggling. It truly is, because I came from corporate world too. So, and Brian, you can attest to this. And you sit back and you see, okay, they've got all this lighting, they've got all this sound system, they've rented this building, they've all these hotel rooms, stage, all the people that are working the event, and ching, 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 ching is going off in my mind. That's a lot of money. I mean, they spend millions of dollars to put on these events. They wouldn't be putting on these events if this wasn't a heck of a business.
Well,
they
and
really
I will
would,
tell you
and that
too,
really
like,
just puts you in a different perspective.
I know people will say like, oh, but it's $300 or $325 or whatever it is. But just so you guys know, like Scentsy does not profit from reunion. In fact, they end up eating a large cost of what it costs them to actually do reunion for us. So we're not covering all of the expenses by what we pay. And that is same for the virtual. So I saw people, not in our group, of course, not in Bliss, but that were saying, I can't believe I got to pay that for virtual. It's a whole different, entirely separate and different production and crew and company, all the things for the virtual experience. Like, it's not like they're sitting there with their phone, just videoing everything that's happening. Like it's a completely different beast. And there's a lot of cost to that. So again, we are not covering what it actually costs to pull off these events. They just
what about all the, what does it cost to go to reunion? It's like
$325.
$325. They give you, if you show up, you're going to get products.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is in excess of that. So it's almost like paying for paying for the product. And it's all brand new stuff. It's all the stuff and I was like, what the heck? And I was getting it.
We both got it. And you both get it.
Yeah.
And what people need to realize is that when they charge you, that is so you're going to show up and go to the event. They don't make it free to where, oh yeah, we've got RSVPs of 7,000 people. They want to make sure you're going to show up. You know, they want you to show up. They want people to be there and go to the event.
Okay, so Victoria and Jay, I'm gonna let you guys, will you leave us with your, where it's 9:03, so I don't want to keep you guys much longer. Will you leave us with your final thoughts and or tips, tricks, whatever you'd like to end with?
I can do a trick. Watch, I'm gonna disappear.
As far as Scentsy as a whole, you mean, or the SFR?
Whatever you want.
Hmm,
What's your best, what would you like to share? Your wrap up.
I guess for me, I would say that the best thing is just do what works for you. And I know you hear that 1,000 times, but it's true. Some people do home parties and that's what works for them. Some people do events, that's what works for them. You don't have to do it all. If you do, great. But if you don't have to, if that's what works for you. For instance, I've never done a home party in the whole 2 years, but I'm okay where I'm at. Maybe if I do one, it will boost, but I'm just saying, don't worry if you're not doing it all and thinking you have to do it all. You'll get there. And I'm telling that to myself, really. I'll get there. But that's it. If you love it, just take it day by day and you'll get there with me, because I'm gonna get there too. Go ahead, Jay.
All right,
Okay.
and just remember and keep in mind that this is more like a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Good
Okay,
call.
so it's going to take time, and every day that goes by, if you do one thing to improve your business, that's good. It's a golden nugget and stuff. So just collect all your nuggets, and then eventually it'll pay off. All right, and then you can cash it in and buy that van that Tracy has. You know?
The Kia Carnival. There you go. That's a
I'm
good commercial
telling
for
you.
Kia.
He's a mess. He loves that car. Ever since we got to see it at that one event, he was just like, what kind of car is that? We need to get that. I'm like,
That's
Jay,
funny.
right now, let's focus on the little, what is it, escape
It's
we
a
have? The
spaceship.
little
It's
escape
a
we
Kia
have right now.
Carnival.
That's right. It's amazing. Anyways,
That's
but
funny.
yes.
And how about you, Amber? What's your wrap up?
My wrap up is get to SFR. That's my wrap up. If you can't get your husband to go with you, take your mama or your sister or your best friend. Take somebody with you, share the excitement. Get a ding dang Timmy to go with you. Carpool. I'll do my miniature plug for SFR because my husband did remind me the other day that he's actually the one that introduced me to the people that I stayed with at my first SFR. At that time, I had not been in Scentsy even a year, and he actually called me and he said, do you know about this convention that Scentsy does? And I said, well, yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm not going. And he said, why don't you go? He's like, I was just talking to this lady at the truck stop and she's going. And she said that she has room in her hotel room that you could stay with them. I don't know these people. My husband doesn't know these people other than she works at the ding dang truck stop. And I'm like, what? And he was like, you can go, to be cheap. He's like, I'll buy your plane ticket. Okay, on Spirit Airlines. Don't come at me for Spirit because I actually love them. But anyways, he bought me a flight. I stayed with these 3 girls that I had never met before. They were not in like my group, my team, at the cheapest hotel on earth, that's not even in business anymore, in Vegas. I flew for the first time by myself to Vegas on Spirit Airlines, and I'm still alive. I stayed with these 3 girls. We had the best time ever. And I think I paid, I don't know, $50 for the whole week to stay there. But I made it happen, and I ate a really nasty buffet because, like I said, I was broke, and I ate that horrible buffet that was in the hotel that's no longer open, if that just tells you anything, because it was cheap. I think it was like $9 for a meal. And yeah, just get there. Get there. I don't care how you get there. Make it happen. Stay with whoever you have to stay with. Sleep on the floor. Sleep in the bathtub, because it will be completely mind-blowing to you. And it's huge for your business. So make it happen. And, and I survived. So right here, I am your testimony. That was like 11 years ago. I'm still alive. I survived the SFR with the strangers and the airplane and the creepy hotel, the whole 9 yards. So you can do it.
I love it. That's awesome. All right. I don't know how you're going to top that, Amy and Brian, but you're going to have to try.
You want to go? You want me to go? Okay. I'm not going to top it because I'm not going to actually talk about SFR. I wanted to just say that my journey is a whole different, that's a whole nother Zoom and story, but I just want to say that I've been in this business for, like I said, it'll be 13 years in November, and I just promoted to director in October of 2020. So I did not start out of the gate like Tracy. I am not the Tracy DeMario. I did not do that quick start out of the gate and make director. And Tracy, how long did it take you to promote to director? A year, 9 months?
9 months,
No,
6 months.
No. It was 4 months.
4 months. That's
Yeah.
right.
4 months. Okay. See, and superstar director in how long?
2 years.
2 years. Okay. So that was not Amy Denny. Amy Denny didn't even promote. I didn't even get my first TV until I had been in almost a year. It took me 5 years to promote to superstar consultant. It took me 10 years, almost 10 years of the day. I promoted October 31st of 2020, and my 10 years was 11/1. So almost literally 10 years to the day to promote to director. And I'm still sitting at director. I'm not star director yet. I'm going to get there, but it does not matter how quick you start or how slow you start. It's that you never give up. And yeah, Amber, we're on the slow pace. We're on the slow track to everything, but it's fine. It's all fine. Everything's fine. We're getting there. So it doesn't matter how quickly you start or how slow you start, as long as you never give up and you just keep moving forward. Because even though I've stalled out a few times with my promoting, I've never stalled out in my business. I've never stopped working my business. I've never said, this is it, I'm giving. I mean, there have been times where I have felt like that, and I've called Tracy or I've called Amber, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what to do. My team's, flat. What do I do? And they're like, you can only control yourself. And so you keep working your business and you keep moving forward. And so my best advice to you is do not give up, because this business is totally worth everything that you put into it. You're going to get back tenfold. So just keep going. That's my advice to you.
I'll give you my closing. AA. I do it all the time. Do you want an AA? Most people think that's an attitude adjustment. AA is two things: attendance and attitude. Attendance, show up. Attitude, bring it. And that's all you got to do. I talk about that all the time. All the time. I can either give you an AA, which is an attitude adjustment, but attendance and attitude. Show up, be there, be present, bring the attitude, stay positive. Okay, hang loose.
That's my guy.
Yeah, that's your guy. That's your guy. That's right.
Hold on. Ready?
Mic drop.
I love it. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this evening. It is going to be recorded, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get it uploaded to YouTube. So you guys can share this out, or if you had to, if you have team members that couldn't join us tonight, you think it would be helpful, please be sure to tag them when I get this posted. So appreciate all of you guys coming on. Certainly appreciate those of you guys that were willing to share with us tonight. And I cannot wait to continue on this journey and watch all of us just continue to grow our business. So good night, everyone.
Bye, guys. Love you.